All right. I think we almost made it. It's the last thing before we can all go and have some food and drinks. I think this is the part that I really enjoy and I'm glad I'm a part of. It's the Kubernetes Community Contributor Awards 2023. It's exciting to see some of the names that we're going to be mentioning today. A lot of new faces, a lot of individuals who continually contribute and just make impact. So I'm glad you're all here. I know I was ready for a nap, and now I'm just, all right, I got this. Xander, how you feeling?
Good. I actually had a nap, so. So, just some logistics here. We're going to go through and read off the names of all of the folks that have been selected for these awards. We are going to do our very best with pronunciation. Like, the effort is there wholeheartedly, I promise. If we mispronounce your name, I'm so sorry. I will buy you a drink at the celebration. Lastly, we do this every year, and it is, we know that the CNCF does their awards as part of the big keynotes, but this is a chance to be recognized by your fellow contributors. So it's a chance for us to do this on a smaller scale and celebrate what we've achieved together. So, let's get started.
Well, before we get started, you have to know what you're going to get as an award. And so I want to, first off, thanks Caslin for providing us our, whoops, went the wrong way. Which one? The green one. Let's see. There we go. We can have nice things, y'all. And about nice things, we have a Chopped Pizza Carry Boxes logo this year. So for all you, let's get that spirit of Chicago. I think Kazan really captured it. I really enjoy this deep dish pizza. So as we were just saying, just logistic-wise, we want to acknowledge you where you're at. Feel free to stand up, raise your hand, however you want to be acknowledged and be seen. Everybody cheer for these individuals as we go along through this. And so with that, we're going to get started and go SIG by SIG. And are you taking the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with API Machinery. The first award goes to Mike Spritzer for his continued contribution. Oh, yeah, do that first. So this is for his continued contributions and relentless effort in designing, leading, implementing, and refining priority and fairness for the Cube API server. And then next up, we have Jeffrey Ying. This is for his design and implementation work for aggregated discovery, which improves all discovering clients.
All right. Thank you, API Machinery. Hey, did y'all notice what I did here? We have a decoder going on here. This is basically a name to a GitHub handle. That is magic. I'm telling you, I've learned people I know them by their handles. I don't know them by their names sometimes, so I'm trying to help everybody out here to get to know these names. So then next up, we are going, actually, that was API Machinery. Now we're going to SIG Apps. And are you going to do SIG Apps, or am I going to do the architecture after? I think you're...
No, you're on apps.
Okay, cool. On this one then, we have Michael Wozniak. Mikhail has been consistently contributing improvements and fixes to the job controller to improve its usage in various batch workloads, which is near and dear to my heart. Thank you. And then we have up Philippe Kripinski. Philippe has been consistently helpful in various tasks throughout the SIG Apps portfolio. He's working hard to promote several features forward, is putting a lot of effort into reviewing PRs across the board, and finally, he's always helpful and open to other community members. So thank you very much.
All right, and SIG architecture. I'm just going to go with Wojtek for this first name. I'm going to go GitHub handle on this one because I will mispronounce your name. I'm sorry, but it's been on point and taking really good care of ongoing business for reviewing PRRs for a while now. The PRR program is extremely important to ensure that we as a community spend enough time thinking about the readiness of new enhancements being proposed and how it will affect the millions of workloads and users that will need to update to newer versions we roll out. So thank you.
This next one's at 3 first.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this next one, we're going to do all at the same time here. Mark, Grace, and Priyanka. This is for your work on implementing the GitHub project for Kubernetes enhancements tracking.
All right, next up, we have our SIG auto-scaling, another one that I'm very near and dear to. And with this one, let's see, there we go. Kensai Nakata. Kensai picked up a feature which had languished in alpha for an extended period, the container resource metrics autoscaling, and drove the work required to graduate it to beta. This included significant improvements to the observability of the HBA controller metrics for all users, not just for adopters of the new functionality. This hard work was entirely responsible for this feature making it to beta and being in a position to be graduated to stable in the near future, but despite not having even worked with SIG autoscaling before. Kensai's work here was a glowing example of seeing a problem and proactively solving it for all users of Kubernetes, so that's pretty awesome.
All right, SIG CLI next. First up is Marley Puckett. Marley has been helping. Marley has been helping with SIG CLI for several months, tackling almost impossible problems like JSON path support for config, kubectl, among many others. For the past several months, she's also been active and recently taking over leading our monthly bug scrubs. Hire contributors. All right, and next up we have Yugo Kobayashi. Yugo volunteered for our customized training cohort a few months back. Since then, he's been actively helping answer questions, fixing bugs, and being a great community member. Recently, he was also promoted to be one of the customized maintainers.
All right, so we're next up to SIG Cloud Provider, Joel Speed. Joel has dug into complex problems to create workable cross-provider solutions and always writes clear and thorough issues and explanations. Thank you. I love those explanations. All right, we're going out a SIG cluster lifecycle. We have a few people in this one, so you're going to have to bear with me just a little bit here. Starting with Michael McCune. Hello, Michael. Mike embodies the heart and soul of the Cluster API community. He is a wonderful host of many of our meetings and the tireless driving force behind many initiatives and discussions. Next up, we have Killian Muldoon. Killian deserves this nomination for his tireless work to improve and stabilize the project's end-to-end tests, creating a solid foundation for implementing exciting new features in the upcoming releases. Then we have Joe Kratzat. Joe has led the Cluster API release team for v1.5.0 to ship an awesome release and set the bar for being a great mentor and a model for all the contributors involved in this effort. Well done. And then we have Furkat Gofrov. Furkat is leading the release team for Cluster API v1.6.0 with energy and passion, consistently improving the project's release machinery while mentoring and empowering all the contributors involved in this effort.
All right, and next up we have SIG Contribex. All right, let's start with Avinash Tripathi. And this is for outstanding contributions to the contributor comms team. And next up, we have Chris Short. And this is for your enthusiastic and tenacious support of the comms across the Kubernetes project. All right, and next up, Nigel Brown. And let's actually make this a big one for putting together this whole event. And this is specifically for doing and then automating the invisible work that keeps the project going. And lastly, we have Frederico Munoz for being an absolute boss of a comms blogging lead and showing us all how coordinating many projects and contributors at once is done.
I like how you guys set your leg. Yeah, I know it was you, Caslin. All right, we have SIG Docs next. Marin Berti. For their leadership of the Portuguese localization of Kubernetes docs and the contribution to improving the localization process for all teams and languages. That's very much appreciated. And the effervescent Nate Waddington for their mentorship across release docs, tasks, and reviews to help with the Kubernetes blog. Thank you very much.
All right, and SIG Instrumentation is up next. So this is going to Risha Banker. Risha has made significant contributions to SIG Instrumentation, driving forward component SLI cap, as well as kubelet resource metrics, not to mention her cross-SIG activity and API machinery work.
All right, now I'm getting into the world that I love, SIG Kate's Infra. Muhammad Ali. I like this. Muhammad has been a machine. Check his GitHub profile image, churning out stuff to help us in SIG Kate's Infra, enabling us to stand up and use both existing infrastructure based on GCP and new infra we have been standing up on AWS. Helping out with cop space harnesses and chipping away on ARM64 test suites as well. His knowledge of our infra is remarkable and has helped us immensely. And we have Marko Mudrinic. Marko has been an outstanding asset in standing up new infrastructure using our new AWS credits. He has been a liaison with SIG Release as well, working on really difficult problems in both spaces. How best to deploy and maintain the infrastructure, as well as use it efficiently and frugally. With his guidance, we have been able to move release artifacts over to our Fastly CDN, as well as after building them on OBS. And then we have Ricky Sandowski. Ricky's a role model for how to engage with the community, building trust, digging deep, learning things, and ramping up quickly. Ricky has helped moving tests, CI jobs over to new infrastructure, making sure they are healthy, keeping track of how far we've got, and encouraging others as well in the mission. Thank you.
All right, SIG Network is up next.
It's a big one.
All right, first up we have Rob Scott. So Rob has been essential to the success of Gateway API, helping to found it and working tirelessly in the years to bring it to GA. Without Rob, this year's GA release wouldn't have been possible, and we deeply appreciate his contributions. Next up, Nick Young. Nick has been critical to the development of Gateway API, and his efforts have led it to be the vibrant and successful community project that it is today. We greatly appreciate the long hours spent meticulously building Gateway API and helping to shape the future of Kubernetes. Lars Ekman. Lars is always present, highly technical and knowledgeable, and is often found deep in the Kubernetes machinery. He is crucial to keeping the deeper technical parts of Kubernetes moving forward. Lars's contributions and his commitment to the community is profoundly appreciated. Dan Winship. Dan's deep insights and technical expertise are foundational for Kubernetes. Dan is both a contributor to the code and a mentor to us all. We appreciate the tremendous impact he has had on the community and the technology. And lastly, Andrew Stoikos. Andrew has had a profound impact on Kubernetes. He's worked on many different projects throughout the community, including his tireless efforts on network policy, but is also a benefactor to all those in need. We are extremely thankful to have him building the tech while always supporting others along the way.
Yeah, I gotta say, congrats on that Gateway API 1.0 release. That's pretty awesome, SIG Network. Thank you. So now we're going to go to SIG Node. First up, we have Ed Bardosh. For the tireless and continual pull request reviews and triage for SIG Node. And then he could not be with us this week, Paco Shu. For continuous contributions to SIG Node and representing SIG Node at KubeCon China 2023.
Okay. All right, release will happen, but security first. Good life policy, really. All right, first up is Ray Lahano. We'll get there. It's fine. All right, Ray, for the third-party audit, especially the post-audit follow-up, and so many other things across so many SIGs. And then Ashish Malik. For detailed and collaborative work on the SIG security docs and hardening guide. And lastly, but never least, Chris Nova. And this is for so much Kubernetes security work, especially work that was done anonymously or was uncredited. We see you, we love you, and we miss you.
Okay. So next up, we have SIG scheduling. Shiming Zhang. Shiming is a co-founder of the Kubernetes subproject Quark, which has garnered immense popularity as a toolkit for rapidly simulating Kubernetes clusters with thousands of nodes in just seconds. His dedication to this project has played a pivotal role in elevating its status with the community. I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to him for his tremendous contributions to our community. And then next up is Yuki Aiwa. for becoming a maintainer of the Q sub project after multiple contributions in code, designs, and reviews.
All right, SIG storage. First up, we have Humble Devasi Sharamal. Humble introduced the alpha feature Node Expand Secret in Kubernetes 125 and moved it to beta in the 127 release, and is now working on moving it to GA in the 129 release. He has been a maintainer for Ceph RBD and Ceph FS in tree plugins and announced the deprecation of them in 128 while advising users to move to CSI drivers. He's been helping with various bug fixes in SIG storage and doing work to facilitate the CSI sidecar releases. He also signed up for the mentoring program and guided mentees with upstream contributions in SIG storage. Ben Schwartzlander. Ben originally introduced the volume populators alpha feature in Kubernetes 118, redesigned it in 122, and moved it to beta in 124. As an approver of the CSI spec, he has been providing thoughtful feedback to various features getting added to CSI. He contributed to design discussions of many SIG storage features and has been an active participant in the Kubernetes data production work group.
So now we have SIG testing next, and we're almost getting there. So we're going to do these two together because Muhammad Ali, who's a second time that mentioned that, so he's doing great work, and the one we all know, Dims, who's everywhere. And both of them were called out for their consistent cross-SIG work and communication to improve Kate's testing and reliability. I think we definitely know that that is true. When you look at Slack, we know who's always in all the issues, solving them. So we appreciate you. Next up.
All right, SIG Windows, and then we'll loop back to SIG Release. I promise. I won't forget that one. That SIG is very near and dear to my heart. All right, first up for Windows. I'm going to advance the slide there. Damon Aurora. Damon. Damon has done a tremendous amount of work fixing low-level Windows Service Proxy bugs and testing it on different provider infrastructures to help prove out as POC an out-of-tree implementation of the Windows kernel space proxy. This has the potential to make Windows networking easier to reason about and maintain. Tatenda Zifundi. Tatenda has led the operational readiness improvements and standardization for SIG Windows over the last quarter. He has worked on behalf of his company to build a brighter and more transparent future for Kubernetes on Windows, defining what it means to be a Windows cluster for SIG Windows and the broader community at large. This will give us a more uniform and consistent set of user expectations for Kate's users on different OSs in the future. Kulwant Singh. Kulwant has led the storage and webhook aspects of making Windows E2E tests perform consistently across multiple clouds as part of his commitment to working with the Windows operational readiness team towards standardization of the definition of Kubernetes on Windows. Without his efforts, our broader Windows standardization goals would be hard, if not impossible, to achieve.
All right, so I want to jump back. For some reason, my slides didn't sync. SIG release of all people that this had to happen on. It had to happen to my family. But so now I need everybody to be extra loud for this to make up for what I did. And for SIG release, we have two nominees. One's a second-time nominee. The first one we want to really shout out is Kat Cosgrove. We would like to recognize Kat Cosgrove for her work on the release team since Kubernetes v123 and for her collaboration across multiple SIGs within the Kubernetes community. In particular, we'd like to highlight Kat's outstanding work during the 128 release cycle. The release team is responsible for synthesizing inputs across multiple community groups to ensure that we can ship a high quality and on-time release to our users. Kat noticed a gap in our reporting, escalated the issue, and then stepped up to help manage that selection's responsibilities in close partnership with our friends in SIGDocs to ensure we could release. Her consistency and follow-through and being an active participant in the release retrospectives, filing her findings, and improving process documentation for the release team should help ensure that we can better manage release status reporting for all of our releases to come. Thank you, Kat. You want to grab the last one, or you want me to grab it? You got it? Okay. Let me get to that last one here. And this is a second award for this person, Marko Madrunovic. We would like to recognize Marko for his work migrating the Kubernetes release process to the use of the OBS, or Open Build Service, for producing deb and RPM packages. The release process has a long-standing dependency on Google for final publishing and signing of deb and RPM packages, which over time become a risk to the continued release cadence of the project. Marko led a proof of concept of this new capability, worked to integrate it seamlessly into our release process, coordinated communication for an accelerated cutover away from the Google-produced packages. We now produce and distribute packages using only community-managed infrastructure and are closer to relying only on community-managed infrastructure within the project. Thank you, Marko. Well, really, really appreciated all your contributions. That's it for us. Thank you, everyone.